Hello people, I hope that you're doing fine. I'm also doing fine. Welcome to Charities Bible USA, your #1 channel. Today I'm gonna do my video on on transit, and I'm just gonna show you around.
Take
It's
the next
summer.
right onto North Parkridge Street, then turn left onto West 13th Street North.
My GPS is giving me direction because I'm going somewhere that I've never gone, so I'm trying to get direction.
Take the next left onto West 13th Street North.
This is one of the things that you will have most of the time, especially when you come to live here. It's something called one of the things that's really gonna drastically change. But before I talk about that, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel,
West 13th Street North for 3 miles.
Kindly consider subscribing, guys. And thank you for always supporting my YouTube channel. So let's see what changes when you come to live here in the US. That's what I want to talk about today, as I show you around how green it looks and good it looks. And it's warm. It's getting warm. Although it's still raining, it's getting warm. And soon it's gonna be so hot that we don't even know what to do with the heat. But right now it's still very, very, very good. So so you find that when you're coming from home, when you're coming from Africa, we are used to, I do remember if I was going somewhere, I know things have changed, but they haven't really changed because it's hard to change people's culture. So one of the things that I do remember is that if I was going somewhere and I was lost, I would go to maybe a shop, or I would meet a stranger on the way and I would ask them the way. And if it's like, for example, if today I wanted to go to my grandmother's house, even right now, if or maybe I send someone to my grandmother's house and they don't know, if they reach the shopping center and they ask someone, anybody, that person is gonna be able to know where my grandmother lives or where my mom lives, you know, because of that community thing. You are so close together, and even if you're not so close together, the family, the extended family knows people because they extend in different areas. So it's very, very hard for you to get lost. But when you come here, you cannot just approach a stranger and ask them where you are going, or this place. No, you can't do that, because and the funny thing is that I do remember when we came in the first time, we were going somewhere and we didn't know, so we went to the wrong address. And then when we went to the wrong address, so we entered that wrong address, and we asked the receptionist like if they knew the address that we were going to, but they told us that they don't know. But when we got out of the building and then we put again the map, the building was just next door. So we had just missed with one building. So that is one of the things that you have to know, that when you come here, you have to use your GPS. Your phone must always be charged. Like your phone is, what I can say is that your phone is your helper. Like that's one of the most important things, that your phone will help you. Of course, you can have a car that you can put a GPS on, depending on the type of car that you have. If my car right now, if I wanted to put a GPS, I would put a GPS, or maybe connect it to my phone, or maybe pay. It's another app that you can pay for, and it's called OnStar, and you just put your GPS on the car and it tells you where you're going. So you find that your phone will be your friend. Your phone is gonna be your friend wherever that you're going, because if someone tells you, let's assume you're going to look for a new job and you've never gone there, they will send you an address. Let's assume like you're going to the doctor and you've never been there, they will send you an address. So that's how things work here, which is kind of something that you have to get used to, because I do remember it took us some time to get used to that. Another thing is that even if you know how to drive, or you've driven for many years wherever you're coming from, and you come and start driving here, it's gonna be very very common for you to get lost, or to miss the highway, or to go to a different direction before you get to the bearings. You know what I mean? Like, before you get to the bearings, it's not gonna be uncommon for you to get lost. Even right now, sometimes I get lost, you know, and it's not that I don't know where I'm doing, but sometimes you just maybe missed an exit, and you find that if you're driving like the way I'm driving right now, if I'm supposed to exit at a certain place, and I miss that exit, I cannot go back. I have to go forward and find my way. Although the GPS, it routes you, or rather it tells you, it finds a way for you if you're using your GPS. So excuse me. So I'm so much used to and everybody goes with their GPS, because that's the only way. I have allergies, guys, that you're gonna reach. The other thing that you're gonna find that is very, 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 very different is that the community. You find that we Africans, we meet in weddings, we meet in funerals, we meet in bride price negotiations, dowry negotiations, we meet in circumcision ceremonies. Like, there's so many things, you know, get-togethers, all that. Now, when you come here, you're gonna find that one is a little bit different, because you can have a neighbor and you don't know them. And it's not that you say hi, but you don't know them beyond the hi. It's not like the way you find that you can have your neighbor back in Africa, and maybe you don't have salt, and then you knock at your neighbor's door, you tell them, can I have some salt? No, that one doesn't happen here. You find that people are more...
In a quarter mile, use the left lane to take the I-235 South ramp.
People are more individualistic. Like, it's more... I don't know what I can tell you, but you're living in the same... Because even if you live in Nairobi, or you live in these big cities in Africa, you find that if you live in an apartment complex, it's very easy to know the people who are living there and all that. But you find that the American way, it takes time for them to open up.
Continue for half a mile.
And maybe trust you, and maybe be your friend. And also, if you have a friend, you're going to find that if you're going to visit them, you have to make plans. Make plans. Maybe have an appointment. Say, we are going to meet. I'm going to come to your house at this time,
in a quarter mile,
or whatever.
And
you find that sometimes you might decide that you are going to someone's house. Maybe you decided that you are going to meet at 1 or at noon, and then you go at 1. If you had decided you are going to meet at noon and you go at 1, and you find that that person might be in the house because they might have parked their car in their garage, or maybe the car is still outside. But when you ring the bell, they are not going to open for you.
In 2
because
miles,
maybe
right
that person
to take the US 54 West, US
works
400
at night
West exit toward Kellogg Avenue.
And they wanted to meet you at noon, and then after they met you at noon, they needed to go and sleep so that they can go to work. So everyone is like a system that you get into, and you have to follow it. So that's very, 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 and you know, before you get used to that, you will think that people are snobbish, or people you know, like they do not want to interact. But normally people work with schedule, and when you come here, you become assimilated, and it is what it is. For example, like my shift is night shift, and when I come from work, my mind is I am going to bed, unless I have an appointment. And if I want to plan my appointments, even for my kids, I plan them in the morning, whereby I'll come from work, I'll go and drop off them the appointment by 10, I'll be back in the house, and I am going to bed strict. So you find that if someone was looking for me during the day, they're not going to find me, because sometimes, even if my phone is ringing, sometimes I will not be able to pick it, because I need to sleep so that I can be able to function when I go to work on my shift. So that's very, very, very common. Another thing
use the right 2 lanes to take the
that
US
you're gonna find
West,
is
US
that
400 West exit toward Kellogg Avenue.
if you are the stores, you find that when there's open air markets, a lot of open air markets in Africa. There's a lot of little shops, you know, whereby people have like supplies,
Use the
groceries
right
that they
two
sell
lanes
to
take the
people.
US 54
You
west
find that
exit,
here
then keep left
people
at the
are
port.
more oriented to going to the store. There's two supermarket. It's called the store. So you go and then you buy everything from there. We do have an open air market here in Wichita. I think it's every Saturday.
Continue
And
for half a
you
mile.
can go and try and see if you're gonna find stuff that you like. But most people, they just
In
go
a
to the
quarter
store.
mile,
You go
keep
to
left.
the store, you buy
Follow
your
signs
stuff.
for US 54 east.
Because there's
US
everything in the
400
store,
east.
and then you will be able to. I'm joining another highway. I just left another highway. I'm coming to join another highway here. So you are gonna be oriented to go to the
Keep
store.
left.
The other thing that's really gonna be a problem, that has always, even right now, is a problem, is food.
Continue on
Food.
US 54 east for 7 miles.
Before you get accustomed to the food, it's gonna take time. Like something like cheese. I do remember that I like, for me, cheese, and even right now it's always a struggle. I couldn't even want even to look at it, leave alone tasting it. I really didn't get accustomed to it. So you find that the food is gonna be different, but then you find that the more you live here, you're gonna get accustomed to the food that you find, and then eventually you're gonna settle on, this is what I'm gonna be eating, or this is what I'm not gonna be eating, because there's a variety of foods. There's canned foods, there is fast food, oh my gosh, that's a lot. And you always have to you will settle on what you want to eat, because at the end of the day, it's a private choice that you have to do. But for us, we have settled. Most of the time we do cook African food, of which we supplement with some American stuff. But what I can say is that 80% of the food that we eat in our house is African. And we have not been able, my kids is a little bit different. Sometimes they struggle, of which is understandable because of the food that they are eating at school. So sometimes I would find that it was hard for me to feed them the African foods, but little by little I've been able to introduce them, and just little by little, and they have been able to get accustomed to African food. So it depends on what you want. You can change it, or you can decide you're gonna stick, because we have Asian shops which sell maize flour. They sell a lot of African foods, and that's where we normally go to and get the African foods. Of course, you will find vegetables. You find that there are different kinds of vegetables, something like peas. If you go to buy peas in the store, you find that the peas are sweet. They are very, very, very sweet, unlike the peas in Africa, whereby they are not sweet. They're just peas with I wouldn't say with a flat taste, but they do have a different kind of taste that's not sugary. So you find that you might like them, you might not like them. It depends. It depends with you. So that is food. So you have to, you'll get used to whatever that you will feel like is good. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is it's a bad thing in Africa, and especially for women. Although people are becoming westernized, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, because I don't like judging people, and I do believe that the life that you live is depends on your choice that you make. Nobody can tell you like what to do or whatever, especially when you are an adult. I want to talk about smoking and drinking. You find that smoking is very, very prevalent, even among the females. People smoke. Oh my gosh, people like really smoke. When I came, I was shocked. I was like, women smoke here? You find that people smoke. They do smoke. And you also find that drinking is, oh my gosh, because you can go to the store and you buy beer when you are over 21. Of course, if you are below 21, you have, of course, when you're going to buy beer or you're going to buy that kind of stuff, they have a regulation whereby you have to show them your ID, and also to buy cigarettes and all that. But you find that people do smoke. Oh my gosh. You know, like in Africa, most you know, when I was growing up, I don't know, I know it has changed, but it's not so common because there's still that taboo whereby females, it's seen, they are looked down when they smoke. But you find that here in the US it's a little bit different. So you find that when you go to work, you find that people have breaks, 10 minutes smoke break, 15 minutes smoke break, and it's not men alone. So you have to get used to know that women smoke here, and it's not a big deal. They do smoke, but that's a choice that you have to make, because I also know that there are some people who come from home without smoking, without drinking, and they come and they start doing it. And you know, you cannot question someone for doing whatever they feel like is good for them. But at the end of the day, you always have to think about your health. When you talk about drinking, so like I said, you can go and buy your beer in the store or whatever. Keep it in your house. So there is nobody who is limiting you. And it's cheap. It's not expensive, guys. It's cheap. Something like $12 or $10, whatever. That's
2 miles,
that's cheap, you know. You just go and buy your wine and you can drink. But, you know, you always think about the aftermath. I don't judge people, but personally, I don't smoke, I don't drink, because I always ask myself, what value is it adding to my life? And if it's not adding any value to my life, I'm not going to do it. So I don't find it as something that would affect myself so much. And at the same time, I'm trying to be a good show a good example to my children. I'm not saying that smoking and drinking is a bad example, but if I believe that if I don't do it, I'll be able to question my kids more better, and show them, you know, and teach them and tell them these are the, even if you want to have it, these are the disadvantages. For example, if you smoke, even medical, even someone who doesn't know much about medical stuff, if you smoke, you know that at the end of the day you're going to have a problem with your lungs. That one is going to happen, like whether you like it or not, it's going to happen, you know. If you drink, you can drink moderately, it's okay. But if you drink and overdrink, and you have to drive, that's one thing. You can't drink when you're driving. So if you drink when you drive, you put yourself at risk, you put other people at risk, and if you're caught, you pay very heavy fines for drinking and driving. It's called a DUI. So that's I would say that that's a line that people draw depending on the type that they want to choose when they come and live in the US, because there is the bad and the good. Here there is everything. If you want to be a party person every day, you want to go for parties, you will get that, because it is what it is. This is a first world country whereby freedom, you know.
In half a mile, take the exit toward Woodlawn.
It's a free world country. You have a right to do most of the things. Of course, you have to follow the law, because if you don't follow the law and you find yourself on the other side of the law and you're a foreigner, it's not going to sit very well with you. You're going to have trouble, and you do not want to be in trouble. You want to live a life whereby
then merge onto East Kellogg Drive.
You're living a good life, you know. And of course, if you have kids, what I see is that if I have children, I still need to set a good example for them. So that's one thing that we'll have to decide, because even going to church is going to be a choice that you have to make. You can decide, I want to go to church, fine, good, you can go to church. You can decide, I don't want to go to church.
Merge onto East Kellogg
the
Drive,
African
then
way,
turn right onto South Woodlawn Street.
Since I'm a Christian, and the African way, this one I am very, very biased. You find that most African communities, when the kids are growing up, they are either taught
Take the next
to
right
be
onto South Woodlawn Street.
Christians, good Muslims, good whatever, you know. There is some kind of religion that is instilled on us. Like I do remember
Continue on South
when we were
Woodlawn
growing
Street
up,
for
oh
1
my
mile.
gosh, we had to go to church and everything. But then you find that when you come here, because of the schedule, let me turn my camera a little bit. The road is being there's a road construction here, so the road is kind of very thin. It's blocked one way, so it's one way and it's very narrow. So you find that I think teaching your children, depending on how you are taught, it's good. I'm biased in Christianity because I believe that I should take my kids to church. That's my belief. And I can't, you know, like, it's biased, but that's what I believe in, because that's how I grew up and that's what I know. But you have to make that choice and create time, because it's very, very easy for you not to go to church here, because when you go to work, there's a schedule, and that schedule is for work. But you always have to know that your employer is, if you talk to your employer, they are not allowed to stop you or tell you to go to work if you have to go to church. They cannot stop you. You know, if you have a certain religion that you want to follow, then you have to tell them, I have to go to church. You know, like for example, there's a choice that I made, and I like to stick to that. Like, I don't like working Saturday night, because if I work Saturday night, I am not going to be able to go to church on Sunday. So whenever I go to work, I do not work on that day. I can work any other day, but no Saturday night. Like, I just don't like working on Saturday night, unless, oh my gosh, I don't know what I can tell you, unless goodness. But I do not like doing that, because I have to take my children to church. That's important to me. It's an important aspect.
In a quarter mile, turn left at East Calvin Drive.
You have to make those choices, because you can be so much immersed in going to work, and the life here is so crazy, and you never even set yourself in charge. You forget about where you came from, and you lose your values, you lose your morals. You know, like for me, I believe, and by being a religious person, it keeps me in connection with something, especially when I am going through very, very hard times, because sometimes times can be hard, and at those times,
at East Calvin Drive, then your destination will
I'm
be on
able
the left.
to connect with something because of my religion, and I'm able to move on. But if you forget to go to church, basically you're not gonna go to church. Hi. And then you get immersed in the life here in the US, there will always be that gap. You're going to feel it, especially when you are low, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that to your children. So I've reached where I was going, and I'm going to stop my video here. Let me you have to make that choice and know, this is what I want to do, and this is what I don't want to do. So I just want to give you an overview of, like, you know, when you come and live here in the US, the good things that you can do and the bad things that you can embrace, because, you know, it's a choice that you have to make. It's going to be like a life, like, you can do most of the things. There's so much freedom. You have to follow the rules, of course, but also don't forget yourself. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget your family members. That's very, very important. Help them, because when you come here, you are at a higher level. And even if you're sending them, even if it's $100, $50, it's okay. You know, don't forget about your family members. And we're going to talk more about this topic, because I wanna make you guys become familiar with the life that we live here and the challenges that we go through, because there are some challenges that can be very bad, and also the successes that you can have, especially if you are focused and you embrace your life, and also the failures that you can have, because you can fail miserably, and, you know, even not wish that other people not wish that you came to the US. So I hope that this video is going to be helpful, and I'm going to do a series of videos of these ones, and then we're going to talk about more about this. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. Thank you, and God bless you.